I get it.
Mbijan aganya.
Albaka.
Mbaka important.
Yo, nga transfer la sto.
Ya transfer la.
Ha, code nyinji.
Okay. Korsa. Nsila ID soto.
Ah, sa soto. Sorry. I get it.
Mbijan bro.
Albaka.
Mbaka.
Bara alla service o tariya.
Ah,
mbare ki janna nun kunu bara tariya.
Ah, jannom yona forest de bureau. Gambia tonkon na no mbari ya bere. Ha. Birim koyna fo kato.
Bari si kodo kino kato ni fo bolong blabe to.
56 branches mola soto Gambia jam.
Ha?
Ha. Gambia kono ani Gambia bantala bankol. Nko kodo kiya bere to. Kodo sifa fo falindiro fo nyaadi lafta même na kodi to poto nin kodi maraw jannam number 1 di nyonta andum fana nata anoda enterprise sotale wala nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale de dadi mani domorol ni fana be teat Gambia dawda yalo ngam fa kendol sotale je
ha wo mo yo diat ha
apelenta
baraka ni lafta nyelen kendol e bina
yalo bu kanyi la ko la baraka ba
yalo ndel ciosano lo
baraka.
Gamcell data, now even better. Enjoy 20% extra data on all Gamcell data bundles. Buy 20 megabytes and get extra 4 megabytes. Buy 50 megabytes and get extra 10 megabytes. Buy 100 megabytes and get extra 20 megabytes. Any amount of Gamcell data bundle you buy, you will receive 20% extra data for free. Dial *302* data amount hash or go to your Yaiborum menu and choose your data bundle now. Gamcell data, it's fast, lasts longer and very reliable. Gamcell Yaiborum.
Alright.
Honey, did you remind him that the last time he sent the money, it was not enough to buy all the provisions?
Oh, sorry, I forgot to tell him.
Are you guys talking about money transfer to buy provisions?
Yes.
But don't you know about Baluwo?
Baluwo? What is Baluwo?
Baluwo is a service that your son can use to send provisions directly to you guys from the shop. And you don't have to worry about the exchange rate.
Tell me how Baluwo works.
It's very simple.
Just log on to baluwo.com and shop, or download the app on your phone. You can shop on the website or using the app to buy online basic products for your family and friends. With Baluwo, you decide what your money is spent on. Your money, your choice. Buy online products for your family and friends in the Gambia, Senegal, Nigeria or Mali. Baluwo, better than sending money.
For the first time in the history of the Gambia, Gambia Printing Publishing Corporation proudly introduces the Biliomatic exercise book printing machine. The machine has the capacity to print more than 20,000 books per hour. Yes, 20,000 books per hour. It also prints magazines, newspapers, calendars, flyers, normal books and all kinds of printed documents plus items at affordable prices. With the Biliomatic printing machine, GPPC can now render high quality and non-size restricted printing service supply across the sub-region. Rush now and partner with GPPC for all your public and private printing service needs. Print with us today and you'd be offered highly professional, reliable and efficient service delivery by our team of experts. The Gambia Printing and Publishing Corporation is here to meet all demands and is reliable at all times. For more info, contact us on 437-4493 or 437-4402. GPPC is Gambian and it's yours.
Welcome to the brunch on Kerr Fatou Live. I'm Lamin Cham, and this is our weekly take on current affairs over the last 7 days. This week, finally, the National People's Congress holds their first National Congress. We will go there and bring you all the news that have happened. Of course, you have followed, but then we'll get reflections
and perspectives from the NPP members themselves. We have a guest in the studio. Well, in November last year, he was among the men who were vying to be your president. Yes, you remember, of course, the November presidential elections or nominations process, where you have over a dozen presidential candidates all wishing to take Adama Barrow's job. One of them was Momodou. Even that needs explanation because there were two Momodou. Momodou one, who later became famously for some of the things he mentioned, including, of course, vitamin C, right? Is really with us in the studio. Momodou, of course, eventually ended up with an alliance or support for President Barrow's presidency. Mr. Barrow, welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Kemo Conteh has just been newly elected as executive member of the National People's Party, responsible for political strategy, among other things. Kemo, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Kemo is also an expert in the local government matters in the Gambia, having a distinguished career when he was a civil servant in that domain. Kemo, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good. Let me begin by asking you, and we are also expecting Yanks Darboe, of course. Yanks recently selected as the candidate for the United Democratic Party for the Kama Area Council chairmanship. Yanks is expected to join us a little later, and then we will be able to update you on developments in that party, the UDP, and his own chances of being chairman for the council. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Kemo, let's begin with the National People's Party. Finally, after well over 2 years, and your critics say, after ignoring to hold elections for over 2 years, you finally had one. We heard that, there were issues that you eventually ended up tackling, but then there was heat, there was rowdy debates, and there were even near commotions. We had all that, even though NPP officials have come out to deny that there was ever a chaotic scene, as critics or some commentators said. Okay, by and large, how did the Congress go?
Thank you very much, Lamin. But first, I would like to ask you to kindly allow me to convey my sincere thanks and appreciation to members of the NPP for returning me to my position of Secretary, Research, Strategy and Development at the Congress. In particular, I would like to thank the delegates from Central River North. This is my region of origin, and the delegates from Central River North supported my candidacy for that position very well. They campaigned for me vigorously, and I was lucky in the end to have been returned unopposed, but I felt very comfortable that even if I had to go for elections, there was no denying the fact that I was going to win the elections.
But eventually nobody wanted to...
Eventually nobody challenged the position, but nevertheless my people were very enthusiastic and very encouraging, and I was really touched with their sense of brotherhood. They nominated me, and the KMC delegates rushed to second me. In fact, in particular, Ndeyami Gajigo, my daughter, she sprang forward to second my nomination very enthusiastically, and in the end I had a very smooth ride, and I thank everybody for that.
That position is a Secretary for Research, Political Strategy.
Research, Strategy and Development.
So, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Coming to your question about the Congress itself.
Yes.
First, I do not wish to agree with you completely that we did not organize any Congress.
For well over 2 years, that's a fact. You cannot dispute.
Yeah, but you see, we were not under obligation as a new party under the laws of the Gambia to have organized Congress before the 2-year term elapsed.
Yeah, it's actually expired for a couple of months.
Yeah, but within acceptable range of time, we had our Congress, and the Congresses went very, very smooth all over the country. I think perhaps the NPP has the most comprehensive network of political structures across the country. We had very successful Congresses all over the country. From each of the 1,800 to maybe 2,000 villages across the country, we have established village branches, and in each of the 120 wards in the country, we have established strong ward development, ward executive committees, and in each of the 53 constituencies of the country, we have established strong constituency executive structures, and in each of the 8 political regions of the country, we have established strong regional executive committees. And all of these structures, from the villages to the wards to the constituencies to the regions, and culminating to the national level, we all went for congresses, and all of the congresses went very smooth and very successful. So yes, we had a very busy time the past 3 months, but thank God everything wrapped up very nicely for us.
Let's take a look at the National Congress. We had reports that the positions for deputy party leader, deputy spokesperson, among others, were very contentious. We had reports, journalists talked to delegates who said the party leader, President Barrow in this case, always wanted Demba Sabali to be the national president, whereas most of the delegates preferred one Suku Singate for the position. They were expecting the elections for the position as well as that of deputy spokesperson, but eventually they were not allowed to vote. Allegedly, the president persuaded both Suku and Esa Damfa, to opt out of the race. Some delegates criticized that. They even outrightly accused Barrow of interfering with the politics. Just as we had from the UDP in the last couple of weeks, we had Talib Bensouda said to be challenging, Lawyer Darboe. We had delegates changing the executive's mandate to 4 years, probably to allow Darboe to remain untouchable, etc. But your party also seemed to have issues, as we have seen last week. For example, Demba Sabali and Sidin Jai were effectively imposed on the party, allegedly by machinations of President Barrow, because he didn't want that to be contested. That's what we had learned from even delegates from the Congress. Wasn't that the case?
Well, I also read this contending news in the social media, but I was in the Congress, in the hall, in the conference hall for most of the time, although for some of the time I've been going in and out. I've been out and about. As a member of the Congress Management Committee, I was busy with some other things, so I wasn't really privy to all of these issues you're talking about. I read about them in social media, but I wasn't really aware that this kind of things were going on, as you said. But I can tell you,
deny that they ever happened. But the journalist said, well, they talked to delegates who told them that, and the president had to stay there himself from afternoon all through the night.
Probably so. You see, it was a Congress atmosphere. It was so those Naturally, a great deal of negotiations, political horse trading, if you like, but it's normal. I mean, in a situation like this, that people will negotiate, and some people will want to contest for a position, but after some level of negotiation, would have seen that perhaps it was better in their interest to step back and allow some other people.
What's your partner view on that? Because this happened, almost all the parties seem to have what we now known as so-called Council of Elders. Instead of allowing delegates to elect their chosen representatives, the so-called Council of Elders within the UDP and other people, and now perhaps in the case of NPP, will come and say, no, you negotiate. That defeats the purpose of really a democratic process in the first place.
Well, you see, I think you're seeing Gambian democracy evolving. I mean, the concept of Council of Elders, as you said, seems to be finding its place in the democratic process.
We might as well go to the presidential election and find a Council of Elders.
I don't know about that. I mean, but you see, what we see happening is...
We better have one of them nationally so that we don't have to go to these elections regularly. They can persuade each other and we have one candidate.
Well, you see...
now.
Yeah, you see, this Council of Elders, I think it's coming as part of the cultural, traditional framework in the democratization process. I mean, whilst we are hoping to democratize the political system, we're trying to modernize, but I think it makes sense somehow to not also forget that we're coming from somewhere. You know, as Africans, we have a tradition, we have a culture, and we don't want to leave our people behind in terms of the political process. So the Council of Elders is not something I personally have contributed to. I have never done any research in this area, but I see it coming, and it seems to be generally accepted. And so, well, we see how it's going. But I'm not totally against it. Okay. As I said, I have not done any research into it. I have not looked at it from a very deep level, as it were. But I see it emerging as a structural framework in the democratization process, and I think it is linked to the idea of the inclusion of our traditional and cultural concepts into the political process.
Right. Eventually, Demba Sabali got deputy party leader position, and Sidi Jai got the deputy spokesperson. But those were the two topmost that they said the president or the party leader didn't want elections about. Eventually, that happened now. Didn't this leave a bitter taste, let's say, in the minds or the mouth of delegates who would have preferred elections?
No, but so as many other people or persons who were holding positions retain their positions. I am one of these kind of people. I mean, I was secretary for political research strategy.
You said that nobody actually wanted your position. But then that's not the case with the deputy spokesman.
Yeah, but there are still others who went to elections. They were holding their positions. They went into elections and they won the elections. Okay. And there were others too who were in positions and their positions were contested or were to be contested. But after some negotiations, I mean, they stepped back. I don't know why people seem to be focused so much on Demba Sabali and Sidinjai.
Yeah, because those are the positions that there was much talk about. Like, for example, when Talib Bensouda was said to be challenging for Lawyer Darboe's position or flag bearer, that was the issue at the time. So these are the issues that people were focusing on.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is these are not the only...
But they are the most influential.
No, I mean, Sidinjai is deputy spokesperson.
That's quite influential.
But we have a spokesperson.
Second party.
We have a
party leader is Very, very influential. It virtually means that.
No, it's not. It's not deputy party leader. It's deputy national president.
No, he's a party leader, is it?
No, not
Are
party.
you saying this is Dembo deputy? Is that what Dembo?
Yes, he's Dembo's deputy.
Are you sure he's not the national party?
No. Dembo is the national president.
You think the job that I'm talking about is deputy party leader?
We don't have deputy party leader in our constitution now.
I thought that's what was being contested.
No.
Are you familiar with the nomenclatures? In the
it's Dembo is the national president.
Yes. Are you saying that
Demba Sabali is the first deputy national president?
Oh, okay. So it was first national deputy that was being contested.
Yes, first deputy national president. That's what we are talking about.
Allegedly, Mr. Barrow wants him and not anybody to.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know why people are saying Barrow wanted him. I'm not aware of that. I mean, I've been, like I said, I've been going in and out of the conference hall.
But I think that is coming from your own camp. Your own camp is saying that Barrow wants him this, Barrow wanted that, Barrow wanted this. That is coming from your own camp.
Well, I don't know, but no one in my camp told me that. Maybe they told you.
But they spoke to journalists and they said the party leadership doesn't want election for those positions.
No, but you see, first, let me emphasize that personally, I'm not privy to this information. Okay. But even if that were to be the case,
it's normal in a democracy.
Barrow is a member of NPP, and Barrow has all the right, like any other member of NPP, to engage in negotiation and support for any party that any member of the party that he feels he likes or he supports for holding a party, for holding a position. I just told you that in my own unopposed, in my own election, my people, there were people who stood up and campaigned for me vigorously for me to win, and they are members of NPP just as Barrow is a member of NPP. So being president, I don't think being president and party leader, I don't think is what should debar him from expressing his support for any individual. That's a personal decision.
One would have thought the best way out was to allow elections to happen.
But he never allowed elections. He never disallowed elections to take place.
He allegedly went out of his way to persuade the other candidates, Chuku Singade, to give way.
Everybody who participated in negotiations for another or for their candidates went all their way out to persuade the other persons to either step aside, or persuade the delegates to vote for the candidates that they support. I mean, it was a democratic environment. I mean, anybody has the right to support who you want to support.
I think you are right. The party has a no deputy party leader. Actually, is first deputy national president.
Yes.
That's what Demba Sabali. That's what the job allegedly Barrow wants for Demba Sabali. Well, that's what some delegates allege. Your delegates.
It could be. Like I said.
So Suku naturally is the second deputy national president. So that's what eventually happened in the
Yeah. What happened eventually is that Demba Sabali became first deputy national president, and Suku became second deputy.
And all of them, it is Dembo by force Bojang who is their president.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Dembo by force Bojang is the national president of the party.
Very good, very good. That's now clear. Now, finally, for now, before we go, like we said of the UDP, do you think all these wranglings probably is a reflection of a deep division within your ranks?
Within the NPP ranks?
Yes.
No.
For example, these are issues that will surface in future, and you will have to deal with them.
No, I don't think so. I mean, like I said, in a Congress environment, there was a great deal of, goings and comings. There was a lot of negotiations and horse tradings and so on. So people held different positions, and they argued among themselves.
for the candidates that they supported and against the candidates that they did not support. And
so that's natural.
That's natural. And at the end of the Congress, it was what it was. So the party is going to move ahead from here.
We will talk about what the party will going to what's going to face in the next couple of months, actually, because you have right by your side there, Yanks Darboe. Yes. Yankuba, welcome. Yankuba has just recently been, the United Democratic Party seems to be a little bit ahead of you in terms of preparations for the elections. Not only did they have their Congress earlier than you, but they've already set their campaign in motion by selecting their candidates for the coming local government elections, at least chairmanship and mayor level. I'm not sure how the process is in terms of local councillors. Yanks Darboe, has been selected as the chairperson candidate for the UDP in the West Coast region. Yanks, welcome.
Thank you very much for having me, and thank you to all the viewers who are watching this program. Thank you to the panelists that we have here. And thank you for
your own selection was a little bit contentious. We had that you had to go through a lot of screening and eliminations before you finally became the chosen one for the candidate. There were also talks that the senior leadership of the party preferred somebody different from you. How did you see the whole process?
I think the process was fair, and it was free and fair, and it was, I would say, democratic as well.
Okay.
And the leadership indeed had their preference, and the youths had their preference, yes. The masses had their preference.
Yes.
I would say the preference of the masses was what prevailed, so it was democratic. It was a democratic result of a democratic process, that which I think everyone who participated in it was satisfied that the process was impartial and it was free and fair.
So you are admitting, of course, that left to the leadership of the party, you wouldn't have any chance. They preferred candidates like Bojang.
I don't think the leadership were unanimous in their preference for one candidate.
But you are not certainly on their list.
I think
you came through a popular demand.
Yes. I had a lot of backing from the youths and the masses in West Coast, and I think that what would matter, because they are the people in the region, and they are the ones that are going to vote in the election, and their views.
After your election, do you now have the goodwill and the support now of the leadership?
Of course. The leadership would back anyone that eventually emerges.
Even if that was not their wish?
Even if it is not, they would back anybody, because that's how the party has always been, Whoever emerges, the leadership would see that person as their candidate and would support him 100%.
The party has this so-called Council of Elders I'm talking about, and they have weighed in many of the election matters back in the Congress at Janjambore.
I can see why my co-panelists were struggling to understand what Council of Elders means, because they don't have it. They're a nascent party. They just recently started. We've been there for about 20-something years.
They copied your idea of Council of Elders?
They always copied our ideas.
Oh, okay.
They always copy our ideas.
Well, I really...
We are their fathers, they are our children, so they always copy our ideas, indeed.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes. So the reason why we had Council of Elders is because we have the people who have been there when the party was initially initiated, and many of them have grown a lot older now, and we've always deemed it important and relevant to always have their opinions on issues. That's why we call them Council of Elders. So we always want to tap into their experience of what the party had been through and how it emerges through some difficult times. And whenever we face challenges, we always want to seek their counsel on those. And that's why we call them Council of Elders. And they have an influence there, but they're not people that impose their opinions on us. No, they always come and then share that wise counsel on the executive and everyone else. And it always helped. It has paid fruition, if you ask me. And it's the reason why the party had been together since, and it's remained united despite everything, the challenges that we are confronting on a daily basis. We remain a strong force in our democratic dispensation here.
So one hurdle is overcome, that is you have won your party's tickets to contest Brikama Area Council. But of course, Brikama is one of the hottest councils that you can expect elections will be. Like I said, you seem to be ahead, your party seems to be ahead of others.
Yes.
But nonetheless, you can expect a big fight on your hand. Do you hear from the grapevines? I want to put that direct to Kemo, but I don't think he's prepared to the Kemo. Do you have a candidate already for Brikama Area Council? Any name?
No, it's not finalized yet.
But there are names of people coming up?
Of course, yes. I mean, there are names being popped.
Do they include the incumbency for Sonko? Or one Amadou Jite?
Well, yeah, certainly. You hear names like that, but no structured discussion has taken place yet in terms of the selection of candidates.
Yanko, from your spies or your spy on them, what are the names you're thinking? Are you hearing?
Well, we're hearing a lot of names. And,
like what? You have some?
Well, we're hearing that they are maybe contemplating on choosing Silvo Sonko is one. The incumbent Silvo Sonko is one. And we can't rule him out because obviously he is doing his own bidding. He's doing his own canvassing.
So he's flexing his muscles to come back.
Well, he's trying his best to make sure that he is able to win their candidate, their ticket. Yes.
Any other name?
So you mentioned Jite. Jite is another name that has been thrown.
Sorry, Ahmed Jite.
Ahmed Jite. We have that is one of the names that I had to deal with on every media interview that I engage in. They always have to throw that out.
Jite definitely seems to be the likely person that you.
Yes. So Jite is one of them, and then of recent we are also hearing names like Buba Isane. We are hearing names of Lamin Bojang. I don't even know who those.
Buba Isane is deputy ambassador.
In South Africa, yes, they are. So obviously, NPP knows that they have a strong challenge in us, in Brikama, obviously. So they are at the moment brainstorming as to who would be the best wrestler that can come in. Yes.
Who can stop you from becoming
No. If I can come in there, I mean, it's not. We have a way of. Working on these things. It's not as if that Brikama is a very...
It's one of the most biggest and one of the most important.
Brikama is a very important local government area, but I mean, that's not why we haven't made any decision on Brikama yet. I mean, we have not made
it in any other place.
No. I mean, we have not made any final decision on any other place yet. There will be special consultations, and there's going to be a certain decision-making process that will lead us to the final selection of candidates.
How soon? Well, young command others effectively started campaigning.
No, that's okay. We have our itineraries, and we are working on our own itineraries, and that's okay. That's for us to determine, and we are working on that. Yeah.
Yankubo, what do you want to do differently when you become chairman that you think the present administration under Sirfo Sonko is not doing? Well, or the NPP, with any other person from NPP would not be able to do. In other words, why would people vote for you as chairman?
Well, I think we want to do everything different to the current administration there, and that is NPP administration. So,
well, the guy was UDP. I mean,
he was UDP, but remember exactly. Yeah. So he was not UDP. He was NPP, of course.
Okay.
Remember the members of parliament that have defected from the UDP and went to NPP were labeled as NPP MPs.
Some of them lost their seats. I don't know.
Exactly. So Sirfo also defected and should be quite rightly deemed as an MPP chairman. So we had 4 or 3 years of MPP chairmanship at West Coast. We've seen what they've done, and their performance was quite abysmal and terrible. And the people of West Coast need a change, complete change of the current status quo. And one of the things we've got to do is we've got to deal with corruption. It's one of the things that have not been helping that region at all. Because no matter how much you are getting from the donors, if it's all leaking through the black hole, there you will not be able to achieve anything. So we've got a lot of challenges at West Coast. We don't have roads. Tertiary roads do not exist in ours. We have potholes everywhere. And when it is rainy season, we have to deal with a waterlogged.
But who said the council have enough money for that?
Well, the council should be having enough money, considering this is the biggest region in the whole of this country. West Coast is a massive big region. It has great revenue potential, but if you...
Some got introduced very good, very sound policies, digital revenue or digital marking, revenue collection.
But has it made
those are innovations that will help maximize revenue.
Has it made any difference? That is the question. You can bring in all the technology that you want, but how many houses, how many properties do we have in West Coast who are still not paying taxes? Has the digitalization reached those places? That is the question that people need to ask. Because West Coast is still reporting 83 million revenue annually. When KM is reporting almost 400 million plus.
But KM, come on, is bigger.
KM is bigger in what way?
Let's say there are more industries and revenue generating, tax generating.
We have the airport, we have the Gum Petroleum down there, we have an industrial estate now that is being created at Fatou.
The hotels.
We have the hotels, we have, TAF is building us cities, modern cities in our region. We have a lot of things happening in West Coast. If you talk about subs, you cannot say that KM has more tax generating.
That's what I hope.
No, I wouldn't say so.
Kemo is an expert.
I don't think you intend to moderate a
Kemo is an expert in that. Let's come back.
I don't think.
Kemo, take politics out now. Can you advise?
No, that's exactly what I'm saying. I don't think you intend to moderate a political campaign here.
No, well, of course, this man has made it clear. He started it. You haven't started it, so nobody can stop him.
No, but I just want.
They're sleeping. They need to wake up and catch up.
I just want to say that when it comes to the city roads and potholes he's talking about, that's all over the country. That's even worse in KMC. I mean, so you see, this has to do with the overall lack of capacity in the councils across the country. I mean, that's everywhere. That's a huge local government problem that needs to be addressed at the level of policy.
But who addresses that?
But he's saying that there are already enough money.
Who should address that?
Now, at least the amount of money that's coming should have been able to tackle some issues, some basic things like, if you had to go to Brikama, even what we know in United Kingdom, something like town center. Even the town center, it
doesn't exist.
It's an ISO. I mean, at least, no matter what, it's at least the area around the governor's office, the council, at least that should be on the markets.
You just observed yourself, Lamin, in the beginning that you don't think, or you didn't think that Brikama Area Council had enough money to do all of these things. And then you went on to inform him that Brikama Area Council had started a digital revenue collection. And his immediate response to that, what difference has this made? But this is a revenue, digital revenue system that was just, when was it introduced? Just very recently.
Not long ago. Get that phone. All right, so it looks now that...
but you see, Cham, let me just quickly respond.
So within this short period of time, I don't think you expect this digital revenue system to generate so much funds and so much human resources and technical institutional capacity to address all of these things, overnight. Obviously, anybody who tells you that if you give them the responsibility, they will do these things overnight, obviously he's fooling you. No one, it's not possible, humanly.
Oh, okay. So he just maybe...
Obviously, it's just making... That's why I said I do not think you want to moderate a political campaign here, because
before you cannot stop him now. I want to ask him now.
Yes.
The kind of challenges he will face, questions he will face from you people whenever you put up your candidate. And I wanted, before I come to our third guest in the studio, I wanted to say now that in terms of preparations for your party and your candidature, how far have you effectively selected a team or are we beginning the campaign, or are you going to wait for the official campaign period?
Well, we have to wait for the official campaign period to start the official campaigning.
Yes.
But obviously nothing to stop us from...
Unofficial canvassing.
Of course.
You've done that in earnest.
No, we're waiting on because we just concluded our councillor selection, so we have to wait for that to be concluded because everything had to be run by the party.
Okay.
We have a party, and the party has structures from the regional to the village level, and they know who we need to approach and what needs to be done. And they've done this many times over many years, so they have wealth of experience in it. But just to address what my co-panel, what Mr. Conteh is saying, I think this lackadaisical way of thinking that Africa, we can't do nothing, everything is just Herculean, we cannot overcome it overnight, we just have to just go at a snail pace of everything that we need to do. That is what is, if you ask me, retarding us. We're not making that progress that we need to do, and we are retrogressing because we don't have the ambition to believe that, yes, we can do anything overnight, not just wait for 1 year, 2 years, but we can do it overnight. They don't believe that, but our people have been waiting for how long? How much longer should we have to wait for those developments to reach us? Do we have to sit down and say, well, our tax cannot generate it, when we have all the wealthy nations have some form of international funding for developing countries. They have international aid for that. Why can't we tap into that? Why can't we come up with proposals that they will know that this will work? And the reason why they will be more happy to work with local governments is because we are at the local level. If you bypass the central government, they are jealous and their eyes will be on us to make so that that money is put into the right use. It is not mismanaged or misappropriated. So how can we be able to tap into those and then get those people, convince them to believe that yes, we can do it? Talib has been doing it in West Coast. He has had a lot of funding from EU and other places.
Politics aside, Talib has been able to get direct funding from donors, much to the jealousy of the central government, if you believe the critics, who said the recent spat between him and Barrow was boiled down to central government being jealous of his achievements.
No, again we come to it. If Talib has been getting funding internationally, what difference has it made? I mean, I live in the KMC area. Probably you do, and you know, I know.
I work there, I don't live.
You know, I know. There is potholes everywhere in KMC.
Yeah, but
there is drainage problems everywhere in KMC.
Yeah, that may not.
There is huge local development issues in KMC.
Yes,
but what is the difference? Yeah, you see, these things we have to be, take politics out of this.
Yeah.
I mean, reasonably, development is not. It's a long-term. I mean, it's a process. It's not something that you dream of and it happens overnight. Realistically. All right?
Okay.
If, for example, like you said, Sirifo Sonko has started this digital revenue, it's a good thing. Yeah. It's a good start. All right? But it's only 1 year, I don't know, 2 years maximum old. What happened to local government in this country for the past 50-something years? You never had this kind of developments. This is an innovative idea that's kicking off, and we need to give it time. And we're talking about, development, and we need to be realistic about it. Simply because you want votes does not mean that you will go to people and tell them, vote for me and I will change your life today. No, but it cannot happen like that. It doesn't happen like that. You see, development outputs rely on capacities, institutional capacities, all right, human resources capacities, all right, financial resources capacities. You don't have these things in the councils. It will take time to build these things.
Maybe let's take a chapter from a famous political phrase. when you are campaigning, you can say everything else.
Absolutely.
That's from his book. That is from his book. But Cham, let's be realistic here. SO4 came into office at the same time as Talib.
Yes.
Let me come to the defense of Talib here. Before Talib ascended to the position in KM, what was the major challenge the people of KM were facing? It was refuge. He was able to deal with that.
Yes.
Now people in KM are talking about something else, not refuge.
Parks.
Yes.
Parks.
He's brought them parks, he brought the youths a lot of things. In West Coast, refuge hasn't been our big problem, but potholes have been our big problems. Not only potholes, but waterlogs, especially in the rainy season. You go to Brikama, you find women putting their legs up on something in order for them to be able to trade and sell there, because the whole market is waterlogged. Now, you cannot tell us that you have such a problem, you can comfortably go to bed and sleep well till the next morning and say, oh, it will be done, but somewhere down in the future. Not today. When do you want that
Similarly, before SO4 came, one of the biggest problems in KMC, in West Coast, was the complaint about inefficient revenue collection, corrupt methods of revenue collection. He has changed that.
No, he has not changed it at all.
We'll come to you, gentlemen.
I live in Brikama, and my revenue everything by them. That is way out of hand.
Yankobi will have his match or matches when you select candidates, so don't worry about it. Don't tell him. Let's talk to our third guest now, Momodou Ba. Like I said, of course, Momodou Ba was one of the presidential aspirants last November during the nomination process. But I said even Ba needs explanation because there were two Bas. He was Momodou Ba, one who famously said, I don't know, talked about something vitamin. Did he bring some vitamin for us to hear, because we needed to be able to be strong, to be able to complete this part of it. But let me ask you the famous question that Mr. Barrow once asked Dr. Cisse, where have you been since the nomination and then your eventual declaration that you are supporting President Barrow? Where have you been since you disappeared?
Okay. Rabbi israh li sadri wa yassir li amri wa ahlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Thank you very much for inviting me here on your studio.
Always welcome.
And I would like to greet my co-panelists, Yanks and Mr. Kemo Conteh. I go by the name Momodou Ba. Obviously, Momodou is a common name in the country. So if you add Ba, it becomes more common.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why you have many Momodou Bas in
you have more Momodou Bas than Momodou Chams
in the countries in the country. So that's why IEC had to identify us by giving 1 and 2. So that was just IEC's own identification during the nomination process. Okay, so I'm the leader of Afro movement, African Federalism and Republican Orientation. For the first time in the political history of the Gambia, for an individual person or a group to organize, to call, to create a political movement in the name of Africa, I think this is the first time in the history of Gambian politics.
This came about just after the nomination.
During the nomination. So I came with it, during the election. So though I was an independent candidate, because a political movement.
You wanted to become an independent.
Yes, an independent candidate, because a political movement is a non-registered political party.
Exactly.
So if it is registered, it becomes a political party. So obviously I was an independent candidate. So I went to the nomination. I was rejected based on grounds which were already explained by IEC.
Which we did not agree.
But there were some technicalities which I believe in the long run, maybe sometimes they will have to look at those nomination process. But I think that is already in the past.
Absolutely.
So now we can talk about the present and the future.
Is this movement?
Yes, this movement is doing very well, because during the 2021 election, we were faced with 2 options. after my candidacy was rejected. That was either to support President Barrow or to support the opposition. Or I can say, even in fact, it was a two-horse race between President Barrow and Honorable Usainu Darboe. But this is politics. So I can just call it as a transfer, just like in the window, you know.
And the football.
Yeah, football window, you know. After that, countries, clubs, or political parties have their own agenda to recruit people. So thankfully, I was recruited by His Excellency President Adama Barrow, which I did not regret because I was able to be part of his team who won a landslide victory against Honorable Usainu Darboe in a very peaceful election. So as I'm speaking to you, I'm a political partner to the president.
To the NPP?
Not NPP.
That's interesting.
I'm a partner to the president. I'm not an NPP member because I'm not part of the executive. No, I don't have any card, any political membership. Not only to NPP but to any other political party.
Your movement naturally supports NPP.
Yes,
politically.
we support President Barrow, and President Barrow is NPP. So it depends on how people would interpret it.
How far have your relationship developed since then? Because not much have been heard about you, even among NPP circles. I can guess Kemo, did you ever meet him? Or heard about him since the elections?
No, I met him here.
This is the first time?
Today, yeah, this is the first time I met him. But, of course, many people go to State House. I believe he has been visiting State House. I don't work in State House, so...
So how have you been relations with your movement and the NPP and the president?
Yes, with the president, as far as I'm concerned, using my knowledge, energy, to support his agenda. Okay, to support his agenda. For the past 2 months, at least we sat down, at least on 10 occasions.
Oh, right. That's
two time. Tete-a-tete. I had a two tete-a-tete with him.
Okay.
Where we normally discuss about the political situation of the country. I always give my opinion. We discuss, and then I'm seeing myself in the way the country is moving, and I'm happy for the president, and I believe that we are on the right track. The president needs to be supported. It is unfortunate that we are in a country whereby things are only one-sided. If you are with the opposition, they say, "Good, you are the right guy." So if you are with the president, trying to help him, they say you are the bad guy. And I think we have to stop that. And I think we have to stop that. You know, just go through your platform. I think it is online, or it will be on social media, on your page. You go through the comment. If they know that you are siding with the president, they will brand you something else. They will either insult you.
That's everywhere, or
no. This is the situation that we are facing right now. In the country right now.
So if more people blame you, if more people criticize you,
not only me, but anyone who is supporting the president or the president agenda.
So you mean most criticisms goes to those who are pro-government?
Yeah, and that is unfair.
You think it's not a reflection of the popularity or unpopularity of the government?
No, what unpopularity? It depends on how.
I mean, if you were to go to Eric,
but
that's how you gauge.
But the president is doing very well.
Yes.
You know, in terms of leadership.
So you mean the criticisms, the vast criticisms that you are worried about are unfair because he's doing very well?
Yeah, sometimes it's unfair. You know, this is democracy. You can talk what you want to talk about. You can criticize the government. You can criticize the president. He himself, when we were during the nomination, like when we launched our candidacy, we were on social media, we were on TV interviews. We said things that we wanted for our country. We had our share of the criticism. Okay, but when we met him, he told us clearly that I was following you guys. What you were saying, I listened to it, and it helped me a lot. So you see, he's a Democrat, and this is all about democracy. What we are talking about here, I'm sure he's listening to it, because he do listen to all these platforms. And all, yeah, he do. Okay, he told us that I've been following you, I've heard what you guys say. I said, I know what you guys are complaining. So here it is. Let's work together. You know, you bring your expertise together, and then we work. So since then, from time to time, I'm not in the government, I'm not in NPP, but at least I have the opportunity to meet him from time to time. Recently, I was part of his presidential tour where he invited me. I spent almost 10 days.
Really?
Almost every day we sit, we discuss.
Wow, lucky you. You met him 10 times over the last 3 months?
Yeah, over the last 2 months.
2 months?
Yeah, I met him at least 10 times.
Oh,
lucky. Yeah, including 2 tete-a-tetes.
Lucky him.
Can I say something?
Yeah, come on, yeah.
He just mentioned that people are critical of the government.
Yes.
I mean, he should put himself in the shoes of average Gambians who are struggling to make their daily meals, to be able to buy fish in the market, to even get rice from the market. Everything has skyrocketed in this country. What has their government done to alleviate, to ameliorate, or to mitigate those challenges for the people in this country? None. Nil. They have not done anything so far.
I have an answer.
And the people are struggling. How can you expect those that are going to bed with empty stomach to wake up next morning to praise the president? Impossible. They cannot. He is their president. He made a lot of promises during the presidential campaign. He declared himself the winner, and now he is running a government, and he is not doing anything to help them. I was in the United Kingdom when this financial crisis, the Russia-Ukraine war started. You know what the government is doing there? They are giving the lower income earners some sort of money to be able to pay their energy prices, energy cost, because energy costs skyrocketed everywhere. But the government subsidized, they help the people to be able to weather this storm. Our government hasn't done anything.
Well, they have done at least in the petrol.
Yeah,
they keep saying that, but
yes, I think I have to
where's
come in
all
there.
the COVID money that we have?
Yes.
We had in this country. What happened to all the monies that international donors were giving them? We haven't seen it.
Okay, Yanks.
They promised us 3 lane for the OIC road here, this coastal road, and now they're giving us 2 lane. What happened to the 3rd lane?
Okay, good.
So many.
I think it's 3 lanes.
Good.
It's 2 lanes they are building.
Good. Hello. Let me just come in there, Yanks. I think it is incorrect to say that the president has declared himself as a winner. He didn't declare himself. It was the IEC who declared him winner.
Well, as far as we're concerned, we reject that election
let that be
result.
very clear. Okay, and
Well,
you
we
have
don't
to
accept the
but you have to be democratic.
We don't accept
you have to be you have to accept that. Okay, so now concerning the president is doing what he can as far as development is concerned. He himself said the president has done nothing for the country. Okay, and the people are complaining. He said again that the president is doing 2 lanes. Then the president is doing something.
Instead of 3 lanes.
Yeah, instead of 3 lanes. So let's acknowledge the fact that let's acknowledge the fact that the president is doing something. Okay, and that is development. The French say petit à petit, l'oiseau fait son nid. So just step by step, you know, everything would be okay. The president started his development in Basse.
Yes.
You know, he built roads. Right now in the Gambia, from Carton to Koina, we have main roads. Our main roads are already completed. The only things that we have, they are in a road. No, he's saying the president did not do anything, and this is what we have. And this is what we have to talk about. Okay, so if you go to Dakar, they are charging them the toll highway, and we are paying it. And if you go to Dakar, we are paying. So why not we pay it? You know, we are in a situation whereby we need to change. We need to adapt with the economic system. But let's talk about also the recent UN study. concerning the poverty index in the Gambia. The UN has rightly said that prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, the Gambia was among 12 African countries around the world who has reduced poverty the fastest. What do you talk about that?
The UN?
Yes, UN study, I mean.
That was a doctored report.
We
have more people in Gambia today than before.
Speaking of from there, read the latest World Bank report on poverty alleviation in Africa. It tells you that for the first time, Africa, and indeed the rest of the developing world for that matter, experienced the most setback in poverty alleviation in the past 20 years. Within this short period of the COVID-19
and the war in Ukraine.
And the war in Ukraine. This is a universal phenomenon. You cannot take Gambia as an example of a country that is not moving out of, a huge global situation like this, simply because you think this is what will serve your political dialogue. We're not. I don't.
The telephones keep ringing. You never have. You never.
Let me just.
You never seem to know how to put it up.
Yeah, that's what I did, but it's coming all the time. Yeah. So about what he was saying that the government has done nothing, but really, when it comes to the civil service, the president increased salaries across the board.
By 30%.
By 50%.
At least that is something.
The promise was to restructure the salaries, and it wasn't the 30% that was expected.
No, first it was the 50%, and then the 30%.
No,
and for pensioners, 100%. I'm a pensioner, and I'm receiving 100%.
What was promised was not what was delivered.
That's right.
Yeah, but at least he has. At least he has tried.
Yeah, but at least I think it is unfair of anyone to say that the government did nothing. And what about the food and financial incentives that they are distributing all over the country?
Even that had problem. What if the general said the most part of it was mismanaged?
No.
And the government made recommendations which the government is yet to implement.
No, but I mean, you cannot tell me that nothing has been done or nothing is being done.
Of course, nobody can say nothing has been done.
Nobody can say that.
I think the issue has been how effectively and properly it has been done. That's where the issue.
You see, you have to
but
understand.
Nothing has been done.
You have to understand also, as I was trying to put across. You see, the Gambia is a developing country, and we do have our own institutional issues. And in fact, it's a very good thing that I think the Auditor General is now allowed to do its work and pointing out to government its weaknesses, its institutional weaknesses, its procedural weaknesses. This only helps to strengthen us and allows us to rebuild and refocus.
But only if the recommendations made by him are implemented.
Of course,
they are not implemented.
But before they are implemented, they must be presented to him. So did they present any?
We have a system of government here where the Auditor General.
Mr. Conteh, I think you need to take the phone out.
I
take an example of the groundnut farmers. They are selling. The Gambia government was offering them 22,000 per ton.
Now it's even increased. Now
it's increased to 32.
Yes,
but guess how much they're getting? But guess how much they're getting from Senegal? Senegal, they're getting almost $50,000 per ton. So how do you expect Gambian farmers to sell to you at 32? At which point you're talking about they're selling at loss when they are going to make profit in Senegal? How much are they buying? Fertilizer for? They're charging them 2,000 plus. How much are they buying the seeds for groundnut? Almost 5,000. If you're talking about a ton, you're talking about huge lot of money. So and then they have to spend about 3 months in the farms farming those products. And then now remember, in the olden days, it used to be the other way around. Senegal would come to Gambia to sell their products. Now we are going to Senegal to sell our products. You talk about the port. We have been changed by whatever relationship we are having with Senegal at present. This is the problem that we have in this country. And this government is just sitting there and not doing anything about it. And they expect us to wake up in the morning and praise them. No, we won't. We have to criticize them.
It's very unfair for anyone to keep saying that this government did nothing. I mean, how can you say that?
What have they done?
Unless you are closing your eyes to reality.
Yeah,
let them name what they have done.
If he's saying the price of groundnut is this in Gambia and that in Senegal, can he tell me, or can he tell us the level of incentive and support that the Gambia government is giving to Gambia farmers compared to what Senegalese government is giving to Senegalese farmers?
I know the problem, what used to happen is that, okay, the Gambia government provides fertilizer, whether by loan or probably by loan. So that it can come down.
Yes.
Up to 2,000, even that is still expensive. But what happens is that what he's trying to say, and where that problem is, even with all that, the ground buyers from who comes across Senegal, they still offer higher price, better prices to our farmers here. Our farmers too will not sell it to the GGC, even though GGC helps them, but they won't sell it there. They will want to sell it in Senegal. That's only possible because Senegalese traders offer the best price.
Okay, Yanks is saying...
How to stop that is for the government to exercise sovereignty over who come to trade in our country, in our economy.
That's right.
Don't leave your door open for everybody to come. This is the situation that happened. Only recently, the Transport Union is complaining that Senegal is not allowing our commercial vehicles to take passengers to Senegal.
Simple. We have been so changed on everything.
And this is the kind of situation. Why can't we have a regulation where, I mean, Senegalese traders will not be registered here, and they will be stopped if they want to come to.
Can I ask you a question?
These are some of the issues I think can address. Because what happened is that, okay, to be fair, the government gives the fertilizer from GGC. The farmers, Gambian farmers themselves, should be patriotic enough to sell it to the GGC. Because those are the people who give you, but they won't be because of money. And that's where the problem is. So you need to regulate it.
Okay.
So that they won't have another choice.
Okay.
I have a question for you. We have just recently, almost over 80-something children died as a result of poison that was imported into this country in disguise of a medicine that was meant to cure people. Now, since that date up to now, what has this government done to the families who are still bereaving?
Okay.
They are mourning the deaths of their children.
Somebody gives money, so that is just for condolence.
But justice is crucial.
Let the committee investigated and made recommendations. One of them is for the government to sue the pharmacies in India. Another one is to determine, how this thing will never happen by providing laboratory testing, and the government has said they have worked very fast.
Good, Yanks. I think that's already
bringing a lab so that this kind of thing will not happen. The parliamentary report has been submitted to the government, and we're hoping that. But we
have, exactly.
We have 80-something people dying.
The Yanks are politicians, so
you see,
they will always hang on to.
Being a politician doesn't mean that you should not obey.
Yanks asked a question, and then I please need to.
We want to see justice. 80-something people dying.
Okay, I need to intervene there. Okay, I need to intervene there. The country is very small, and whatever touches one, it touches everybody.
Indeed.
Okay, just yesterday, I knew that one of my friends, who is even a doctor, a medical doctor, had one of his kids being part of it, part of those victims. So it's very sad. So it touches everybody. Okay. So now, on that day exactly, it was the day when the president last officially met me at State. When I officially met the president at State House, it was on the 10th of October. That was the day that he did his. He spoke to the nation. Okay. So during his speech, he said he's gonna, make sure that we know truth about what has really happened. But before moving further, we need to thank and congratulate our medical workers. They were easily able to detect this.
After 100 deaths?
No. Oh, but at least if they didn't do, if hadn't not detect this
detected by WHO.
This victim, but they were aware. They were the ones. They were the ones who sent. They were the ones who sent the signal. They were the ones who sent.
WHO were the ones who raised the alarm.
Yes.
That this amount of deaths happened in the Gambia.
But our medical personnel.
Initial investigations was done by
our medical
epidemiologist of RVH.
Our medical personnel,
as well as how to call it, the.
But do you know, Cham?
Yes, but those people.
But it was definitely the WHO.
I just want to learn here. You know,
came out with the.
Okay, you can learn.
I just want to learn. Cham, let me just learn, please. I just want to learn.
That the minister had said the WHO when.
Let me just.
They should have. They went against protocol by announcing
publishing it. Okay. So for me, definitely.
But that doesn't change the fact that 70 people.
For me, I'm happy with my medical, with our medical personnel, because I believe that they are patriots. They were able to detect that as early as possible. Okay. Other countries have detected more. Since then, the Gambian people had. Complained that those people importing medicines in the country, like for the pharmacists, you know, they are judged and party at the same time. So their license should be revoked, and the government is doing that exactly. Most of them have had their license being recalled. So that's a step in addressing this situation. So that next time. No, I cannot tell. Maybe that the Minister of Health and the Health.
The government has brought in new regulations, which the pharmacists have complained that it's now very difficult for them to, directly deliver these things. They have to go through it.
So he visited the victims.
Because the government is now very rigorous.
Yes.
In the
no one can compensate life, but at least he was able to.
Let's move on now.
He was able to summon.
Let me just say.
Finally, because we have 15 minutes to wrap up.
Let me just raise one point before you clarify, so you can clarify that too.
You can clarify. You can raise your question. Maybe you and I talk, you will not find it necessary to talk.
Okay.
You see, Lamin, government is a process of praxis and reflex. You cannot stop things from happening. Things will happen. But when things happen, it's a conscientious government. It's an awakened government that is aware of things when they happen, and they take the necessary steps to address those things. That's why I said I think Yanks needs to update himself. He doesn't seem to know that the latest report on this issue produced by the Indian government is that the Indian government had dedicated diligence and actually investigated this matter deeply in India. And they came out with a statement saying that the incident that happened in the Gambia, and it's not only in Gambia, in other places around the world, wasn't actually as a result of that particular medicine they were talking about. This happened.
You need to update yourself.
And they have actually confronted the WHO to come up with an apology on this.
Can I comment? Can I just say quick response?
Committee, they are looking into it. They are reviewing the relevant medical regulation. They are reviewing the overall institutional framework.
And the president has been so sympathetic with the victims. You know, he met the victims.
Let me comment. You
have to change the topic now.
Yes, let me just quickly. Government has to take responsibility. The people entrusted them to make sure whatever medicine is imported into this country qualifies and meets all the criteria of that description as a medicine. That is a failure of this government, that not just one person died as a result of a medicine that did not fit that criteria, but more than a lot of it. And they did not even know this, or maybe they knew it, but were a bit skeptical about it, to a point that they had to send it to WHO. And it was WHO who alerted the whole of this nation that actually we are being given poison instead of medicine. And this government now wants to say we need to praise them, despite the failures that they have made, which resulted in the deaths of so many children. How can any government serious government, democratic government in any Western nation still be in government after the deaths of so many children and claim that we have not done it?
As I just said, we just don't have to politicize this issue because this is a very serious issue. You know.
Finally, we're moving on. Of course, we cannot avoid politics. You know, because everything hinges on them. The thing now is finally Momodou Sabally, whose case has been the subject of a lot of debate both here and abroad, among Gambians at home and abroad, was released yesterday after a week or so, a little over a week, in detention as a result of an investigation, as the police said, in connection with a video where he was supposed to, well, he said to have said that they will take the government from President Barrow before the next elections, the parliament, the local government election. But what is important is how the whole saga ended yesterday. We were told that it has to take the Gambia the Gambia Islamic Council, Supreme Islamic Council, to intervene and successfully reach an agreement between the authorities and Mr. Sabally. We have a statement from the Supreme Islamic Council here that I would like us to go through and then try to analyze the gist of it and see whether actually the whole thing that led to this thing actually warranted for us all to come here. This is the release. It says, in line with the provisions of the Gambia Supreme Islamic Council's constitution on the maintenance of peace and stability and the appeal by many Gambians for the intervention of the council on the above subject matter, that is Momodou Sabally versus the state or the police or whatever way you want it, the council has engaged the concerned authorities with Mr. Sabally himself to amicably solve the matter. So they have engaged the government and Mr. Sabally in order to solve it. Now, Mr. Sabally's statement reiterated the following points. One, he strongly believes that what has happened is the will of Allah, which has been decided before he was born. Two, he reaffirmed his belief in the rule of law and the principles of democracy through his actions and speech. Basically, it says it has successfully engaged the government and Sabally, where these 3 points were highlighted, and that seemed to be satisfactory to all parties that led to Sabally's release. Kemo, what is your take on this? Well, the background being, of course, all discussed here is...
Well, let me start by saying that at the personal level, Momodou Sabally is a brother of mine, and I get on very well with him.
Okay.
We are in different political camps, and therefore we see the future direction of the country perhaps in slightly different ways. So politically, we're different. But what has happened happened in the context of the governance of the country, and the Supreme Islamic Council came into it at the right time, I think. It's good, very good, in a way that the Supreme Islamic Council, more or less like our famed Council of Elders, you know, came into it. They are part of the democratic architecture of the country. In a democratic framework, the systems of governance and collaboration between government, civil society, private sector. These are the sectors of society in a governance, democratic governance framework. And the Supreme Islamic Council is a civil society organization, and they have decided to play the role of advocacy in peace building in a situation which had attracted the attention of the country all over, and even the international community. And true to Gambian style, I think they managed to prevail. They managed to have peace and understanding prevail in the issue, and Momodou Sabally is free. That's my take on it. I think it's a success of Gambian democracy. That's the way I see it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mr. Ba?
Yeah. Thank you. Momodou Sabally. When talking about Momodou Sabally, you have different Momodou Sabalys. You have Momodou Sabally under the Yaya Jammeh regime. You have Momodou Sabally, Baba the Commando, and now you have Momodou Sabally, the campaign manager of UDP.
Very interesting. And this, as far as I know, is the same person.
Good. Different person. Different
How is it?
Okay. And all those different type of persons, I can say he's my friend. Okay, we know. We got me. Everyone knows. Yeah, everyone knows everyone.
Quickly, go ahead.
We met on several occasions, and then we are friends, and we always tell truth to each other. And I appreciate him. He appreciates me. Okay, but this is, we have to talk. We have to tell what is inside us. That is, I'm a partner to the president, His Excellency Adama Barrow. And he is the campaign manager of UDP. So that is a difference, that we have right now. So, and I'm not going to condone any message that is going to say that Mba Banko Tala, Adam Barrow Blue, or Mba State House is in. So these are two great statements that he did. And I think it is a mistake. And he should stop the monological speech that he's doing and come, just like Yanks is doing. We sit and we discuss about issues, things that he thinks are not right for our country, and we will all discuss about it as we are doing. Okay, so he's definitely a victim of his monological speeches, meaning talking, exclusively to himself. It's just easy, being on the internet or social media or anywhere, you view you express your views. It's easy. But in terms of who is telling you that what we are saying is correct or incorrect, we would have it through democratic, talking like this. So this is what he has to do. So, but Momodou Sabally.
You mean if he talked to himself or talk to yourself alone? Yeah. Probably will say the unsayable.
Yes.
But if you can get people, you can be told that, well.
Yes. At some point. Olof wax na ne xam yëpp wax yëpp baaxul. You know everything and you want to say everything. Sometimes it lands you to trouble. What happens to him? I really didn't wish for him, and I'm so happy that he has joined his family. And I wish him well. But according to what he said, in the interview, this is the reason why the police arrested him and then interrogated him. So before you charge him, you have to arrest first. So he was arrested. It was done democratically.
But
it was done. Yes, 72 hours. But now, because what he said was great, it was big. The messages he said was big, and this is why the government had to ask him to be kept again.
His lawyer said since they kept him, they never asked him really.
Yes, that is between the lawyer and him. But we are just talking about what is right and what is democracy here. If you want to talk about what is democracy and if we want to talk about what is right, I believe things has been done according to the way it has to be done. and we need to congratulate them. Yes, we need to congratulate them, because they are social stabilizers. We need the Supreme Islamic Council, the Christian Islamic Council, the Ahmadi, or any other religious group to intervene in this.
Social stabilizers. I like that word.
Yeah.
Yanks, you of course, your party condemned everything. Sharing was politically motivated.
Listen, even more today
now
than ever
that
before.
there's an amicable resolution to the crisis, I mean, everybody now should cease fire and open a new chapter.
No, we cannot.
It wouldn't help going down, repeating all arguments.
We cannot do that.
Wow.
We cannot move on from this, because what has happened here is an arbitrary abuse of power by the incumbent. If we were in power, we'd done this to them, they would be the one challenging us, talking about it everywhere. It's wrong what they have done to Momodou Sabally. It is very, very wrong, in fact. They knew Barrow was part of UDP. What was the song of the UDP when they used to arrest our leaders? Lawyer Darboe Bankota. That's how we used to sing it. Yeah, Lawyer Darboe Bankota. We used to say that every day. Since when has that become a taboo in this country?
But how about to lock down the country? How about it?
To take over the country? We say it every day. It's the whole purpose of a political opposition. It's the whole purpose of, it's the whole objective of an opposition in a democratic setting. We want to take over the country from the incumbent. But we registered through the political.
What do you make of this, as the police said, that brought in the arrests?
The police, look, Bambo, Bambo, whatever, was the one who dictated the police to go and arrest Momodou Sabally.
The police said he was said to have said that they would take the country from President Adbourou before the elections. In that context, and since there is no legitimate means now until 2016,
listen to the whole. Listen to the whole audio. Listen to the whole audio. What they did is they take a snippet of it and then spread it around. Yes.
In fact, according to the statement of the Supreme Islamic Council, Sabally explained that what he had said was not entirely the whole context. The Supreme Islamic Council recognized that. He explained himself.
But Cham,
and now in the spirit of,
Cham, you know, any reasonable nation, let me say, any reasonable person, if I said I'm going to take the country from Barrow tomorrow, you know what you should first reason? How are you going to do that? That is how a reasonable person is supposed to react.
Yes, you know what made it?
But we have
that's exactly the question they asked.
But we need to come back.
That's exactly the question they asked him when he was arrested.
No,
how are you going to
himself? 72 hours he was explaining himself.
You know,
72 hours.
They took them a week or so to
72 hours. You know what they want to do?
That's where the issue is.
You know what they want to do?
You know,
it's to stifle dissent, instill fear, and persecute those that dare to speak against this, or even
that's not this Barrow government. That is not this Barrow government.
If they wanted to do that, they would not have allowed Supreme Islamic Council.
Obviously,
they were invited by them.
Obviously,
they knew the people were going to react.
Finally, Yankuba, in the spirit of oneness and of course unity. I mean, okay, you might say...
No, we want an apology. We don't want this. They need to apologize to Sabally why they arrested him and detain him for this length of time.
I would have thought that you would have welcomed your man back.
Absolutely.
And then, of course, forget about this matter and let's everybody hope that everybody's rights will be continued to be respected.
And you know, Sabally is the campaign manager. Sabally, yes.
For me, we are all potential victims waiting to be arrested by this system. Do we need to have Supreme Islamic Council come into our aid at all points? No. The law is supposed to guarantee our rights to freedom of expression in this country. Why are they abusing that? Charging us with treason for just uttering words? I remember this, 3 years, they told this guy, one of the guys came to me and said, we're going to charge you with treason. I said, why don't you go ahead? He said, because we had someone said, we're going to uproot him like cassava root. Someone saying that, does that mean that is what the people are going to do?
You have to allow us to respond to those.
No.
But you have to allow us.
I think Yanks should cool down. I think he should cool down because if you have a personal encounter,
let's allow Kemo to cross-examine.
Yeah, I think he should cool down. If you have a personal encounter with somebody telling you words like that. You should not take that as
authority. Somebody in the law.
No, what we want.
Yeah, but I mean, this person, whoever he is or he was.
We went to election. Let me just complete. Yes, let me. We went to elections. We went to elections without no political detainee in prison. And 2022, we are ending it without no political detainee in prison. Yeah, this is democracy.
Wait for your turn.
We are having a repeat of the same thing over each other.
This is democracy.
But wait for your turn. Next topics. A coup or not a coup? The Gambia government has since insisted that what happened was a coup attempt. I mean, we had a lot of commentators who did not believe them. The government has now set up an investigation that have 30 days or now let's say 20 days, 29 days or 28 days now to go to bring in a report to the authorities as to what exactly happened. However, we had from the very beginning what's supposed to be a report of some of the ways in which the alleged coup plotters have gone about trying to overthrow the democratically elected government, such as, according to the newly appointed National Security Advisor, they had plans, to even arrest cabinet ministers. They had plans to take over Denton Bridge. They had plans to shut down or take over some radio stations and make a campaign, etc., etc. There are people in the Navy, in the Presidential Guard, military intelligence, and now they're even hinting that some civilians might have sponsored or participated in the planning. That they have the plan and the detailed sketch of whatever plans the alleged coup plotters have. So many people still remain not convinced. They said, if you have evidence of a coup, you go to a court martial or a high court. You don't take up an investigation to do exactly what you should have done in the first place before arresting them. So some people believe the arrested men's rights have been violated. The government may have been clinging onto a premature or a very weak intelligence report. Hence the need for a 30 days investigation. What do you make of it, Kemo?
Well, an investigation on this matter is ongoing, as you know. The National Security Advisor is informing the public as the investigations continue. My party has not made any statement on this.
This is not okay. Well, your party condemned it.
They did.
They condemned.
Yeah, but I mean the process of the investigation.
Nobody.
All the parties, UDP, all the parties condemned. Everybody condemned it. Internationally condemned it. But I mean on the process of the investigation. So really, I don't have anything to say about it. I'm following it as you are in the media through the pronouncements of the National Security Advisor. That's all I can say about it for now.
Yes, Mr. Ba, finally, what do you make of this whole coup story?
Okay, today is exactly 8 years since we woke up with a similar incident. You could remember 30th December 2014. A similar thing occurred. Okay, but that was a physical battle to topple down a legitimate government. As far as I'm concerned, a coup is just a coup, and the place of the soldiers is in the barracks, not at the palace. So this is why I am aligning myself with the UDP leadership and all other parties who had condemned this coup. As far as we are concerned, we are ordinary citizens. Okay, we are not soldiers, no cabinet member or any other thing. Everything that we hear it from the media. You people are the ones who distribute it to us. You take it from them, from the authorities, relevant authorities, to us. So now, what we can say about this is, we don't know yet exactly what is going, and investigations are going on. But it is a very bad idea to identify this alleged coup attempt as a hoax. or are something else. Because you have to remember that there was an intel from the SIS, and one of Jammeh's legacies is that he had left us with a very, very good security apparatus in this country. We have a very good army. We have a very good soldier. Our soldiers, when they go out on international peacekeeping, they are the ones on front lines. You could ask Ban Ki-moon, when he arrived in Sudan, very difficultly, it was the government armies who went and received him, and take him to his base. Yes, I'm just learning. I'm just learning. I just want to tell you how important.
You are saying that Ghana left a very good security outfit.
Yes.
I'm telling you, ironically, that is what been discredited internationally to be reformed.
Yes, some of them are not trusted. Some of them, their loyalty to the state, are undermined. So this is what is causing the problem, and this is why we have ECOMIC in the country, to stabilize and also to make sure that to oversee our current security situation. But just to tell you that we have very loyalists. We have loyalists. Gambian soldiers are so loyal, and this is why they defended almost more than 22 coups. Jammeh had suffered almost 22 coups, and he survived them. It's because of the security setup that we have in the country.
Good. So, okay. So as far as you're concerned, what is your position on the coup story?
Yes.
Believe there was a coup?
Yes, I definitely believe in our authorities, because I don't believe that our authorities are
funny enough
or disrespect the government people enough to a status of conniving. You're talking about the SIS, the National Guards, you're talking about the Gambia Armed Forces, the Navy, all of them made a press conference or press briefing to inform people about what is going on, and then you come and say that that is not true. In this 21st century, I think you cannot conspire to that extent.
You don't see any reason why the government will expose.
I see no reason why the government will cook up things to tell us that there was a coup or something like that. So what we have to believe in.
So you believe that what this investigation is going to find out, obviously, is going to be conclusively, it's going to be that a coup was staged?
It depends. It's going to be on different levels, on different degrees, because it is something that they have cooked up. And you see, initially they were saying these were junior soldiers, and gradually they are seeing some top rankers according to the information that they are giving us. Okay. So you don't know exactly where this is ending. So that's why we don't have to conclude now.
Yanks, finally, very, very quickly, what is your take?
Well, you've given him enough time. You've got to give me enough time as well. So my take is very simple. A coup is just a word until it is proven to be a coup. It's simple as that. Remember, they arrested Momodou Sabali linked to this.
No, somebody was never linked to
it. Well, that was the investigation.
Clearly, his case was never linked.
That was what they told. The lawyer told us that. The lawyer stated that they are thinking of charging him with treason. Their own statement before the court, the affidavit signed by Mr. Cham stated that Mr. Sabali said this, and a few weeks later, and the state is pondering on charging him with treason.
The lawyer was clear that Sabali's case had nothing to do with
That's what we said. That's what we said. So how many other people are currently in detention who shared that fate of Sabali? How do we know? 72 hours has gone. They are still detaining them. Remember, our constitution said everyone is presumed innocent until proven guilty. They are innocent.
Well,
just because you label
the whole set of different rules.
But the constitution applies to everybody, including the military.
But the military has.
Well, they take an exemption, but there shouldn't be no exemption. Constitution applies to every citizen of this country. It didn't say civilian and military. It didn't make that distinction.
How much should we take, we believe? Now that the national.
Well, they did a press briefing that they're supposed to brief the country about what, and they refused to take any questions from the press. How do we know what is happening there?
They said it was a press briefing, not a press conference.
Well,
and the matter is sensitive.
Well, at least give us a bit more. But this was like a script coming from Jammeh's era.
For example,
they want to arrest the ministers. They want to do this.
The composition of the investigation.
investigative panel.
For me, before you arrest people on a coup, because coup is a very sensitive thing. It's a very serious allegation you're making here.
Exactly.
You should have sufficient...
I am worried about the bad publicity in the country.
Exactly. It's a very, very serious matter.
Yeah.
Now, everybody...
That's why I think everything should have been done to ensure that there's no...
It should have been exhausted. No iota of that should be there.
But should they stay until they are attacked? Should they stay until they are attacked in order to inform?
But listen.
How can you stay? How can you stay? How can you stay until...
Wait for your turn. Wait for your turn.
Yeah, but this...
Wait for your turn. How can you wait? How can you... Yes. How can you wait for them to attack? You don't need to wait for them to attack. You wait until before they attack, you do it. But you are arresting two people. You're telling us a lance corporal is the ringleader. What is the position of a lance corporal in the military? He's only above a private soldier. He doesn't have a force to command. And then now you're telling us we have a captain. A captain is supposed to be led by a lance corporal in this kind of operations. I mean, it's hard for me, I am yet to be convinced. And I know that the great majority of Gambians are yet to be convinced. You understand? And if they cannot convince the Gambians, the general masses, then look at the challenge they have in convincing the judges. But the question is, how long do you have to keep these boys under detention, and how long do you then claim that that is justified, just because of coup? We have gone through TRRC. We've heard people say we are accused of coups which we never even heard of.
Yeah, that's true.
So this is something that we need to be very careful of endorsing something that government throws at us and we said, oh, we buy it because it's coming from our government. As if our government never made mistake here. 22 years they've been making mistakes.
You know, I keep saying that Mr. Yanks should be careful about making sweeping statements. I mean, how can you say that the vast majority of Gambians don't believe? Where's your measurement? How did you measure that?
Cham said it here. That's his opinion. A lot of people still remain.
Cham said it here.
But there are still a lot of other people who believe that a coup might have happened. No, but listen. No, let me tell you something.
What we try to establish is that whether or not we're not bothered with percentage of people who believe. What we're trying to say is there are people who don't believe.
And I am one of them.
Who are yet to become.
I am one of them.
Because of the nature of the snippets, you know, and I mean, arrival of the information.
But they are rushing to conclusion. An investigation is going on. Why don't you wait for the final report of that investigation? Then you make up your mind.
So you arrest and investigate.
An investigation is going on.
So you arrest and investigate. You arrest and investigate.
That's where the problem.
That is where the problem is. You investigate before you arrest.
Listen.
How can you arrest people and then you investigate? I mean,
that's not the way. That's not the way it is done. That is not the way.
The police.
You lived in America. You know how it works there.
No, I've never been to America.
It's Kemo
Arrest and
the police are working with method. I am not a policeman. I believe, Mr. Yankuba,
I'm a lawyer.
You are a lawyer, but you're not a policeman. Yes, I believe you're not a policeman. All right.
But I deal with investigation.
Yeah, I think you see when you are faced with an issue of law and you are in the conduct of lawyering, all right, I think people will respect you for the way you are doing your work.
And I'm doing advocacy here.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're doing advocacy, but you do not do advocacy impinging on other people's work and the way they are doing it. These people know police work more than you. I think you have to accept
who said they don't? I said my opinion.
But your opinion is contrary to reality.
But if you want to wait, no, just a follow-up question. Just a follow-up. If you want to wait until you investigate. You know, you put in the horse before the cart.
Investigate first.
Arrest and investigate. And this is what they are doing.
No, you don't.
Darboe, we end up with this coup. What we know, and we want our viewers to understand, is that the government has set up a panel of investigations. Nobody knows the composition. in the first place.
I hope it's transparent.
Okay. People know the composition.
Who are the members?
Well,
yeah, the members are.
They already said this the security services.
I'm talking about the past, not the nomenclature.
Yeah, Google it.
Who knows Kemo could have been a member? He's sitting with us here.
But what's the point? I mean, what exactly do you want to know? They already told you the security services, the police, the military.
Who's the chair? We want to know who the chair is.
All right, they said it's a security matter and it's sensitive. Perhaps it's not wise to come up with those.
Absolutely.
Gentlemen,
this is democracy, not dictatorship.
We have to go. But security matters are always treated.
But democracy, transparency.
Yeah, but that's not security. That's not security.
Security matters are treated with sensitivity and secrecy.
We have the courts to establish those facts. Let's go to court. No private investigation business.
At any point, the investigators find it necessary to go to court. They will go to court.
When the American government, when the American government was going for Bin Laden, no one knew about it. It was only Barack Obama, the chief of defense staff, who only knew about it.
The next day,
it was done. It was done. They were done with it.
Kemo Conteh, Yanks Darboe, thank you all for being on the brunch.
Thank you.
We will be back next week, inshallah, perhaps with a more palatable subjects. Until then, thank you for...
We live in a day and age where technology is creating a world without borders, filled with unlimited potential to improve the lives of the people around us. Innovarex Global Health ushers in a new way of leveling the playing field with increased access to quality healthcare services delivered at your doorstep. Our qualified professionals are equipped with state-of-the-art point-of-care testing technology to conduct tests such as kidney function, liver function, electrolyte tests, body composition, hemoglobin, A1C, and many more services with the highest efficiency in delivering results. The addition to our flagship Wellness on Wheels, more fondly known as WOW Delivery Service, brings the entire clinical experience full circle. IGH has remained committed to creating the future of healthcare delivery. Gone are the days of sending loved ones outside the country for basic medical services. Innovarex Global Health offers a new peace of mind and takes pride in delivering the quality of care we all deserve.
Islamic microfinance is becoming an increasingly popular mechanism for poverty alleviation, especially for developing countries around the world. This microfinance service adheres to the principles of Islam as a form of social responsibility. Yona Islamic Microfinance is the Islamic microfinance of choice in the Gambia, trustworthy and reliable. At Yona Islamic Microfinance, we provide savings products, current accounts, financing products in conformity with Islam. In addition, Yona Islamic Microfinance also offers local and international remittances, Takaful Fund, management of Zakat, management of Awqaf, trading and investment, and building of strategic partnerships to bring financial services to the doorstep of the poor with donor projects, madrasas, youth organizations, women groups, and farmer organizations. Make a choice with Yona Islamic Microfinance today For more information on Yona Islamic Microfinance, call 377-2151 or 9832-151 or visit Yona head office at Tipa Garage, Bakote, or visit any Yona branch located countrywide near you.